Hi, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about applied behavior analysis, what ABA is, and how we use it in our everyday interactions with other people. And this is often when we are using this in our parenting and or if we are in the education field or therapeutic field, or using it with our students and our clients. And so the basic definition of ABA focuses on what people say and what people do, and then changes in a person's behavior. And often what we're trying to do is we're trying to implement changes to the environment that will then change the student's behavior. And we're often trying to change problematic behavior, maladaptive behavior, into adaptive behavior, a behavior that is socially acceptable, that works for both the student and for their teachers and for their classmates or in the home. It's functional, it works, it's what we want them to be doing instead of what we don't want them to be doing. And when we try to describe those changes that we're going to be making, we want them to be as objective as possible. When we're describing that behavior, we want to make sure that we're not putting our own biases into that, or we're not reading into, necessarily how we would describe that behavior or why we think that a student is doing that behavior, without really trying to address the function of that behavior. We don't just say, for example, that Johnny just does something to act up because he's just naughty, or he just likes that, or he just wants to do it. And we also really need to try hard to separate the behavior from the person, the child. We always want to show that child or that student or that client how much we love them and we care about them, but we may not like their behavior, and we can describe their behavior, that something that they're doing, as separate from themselves, their identity. And when we can describe that behavior objectively, that helps everyone on the team to be as precise as possible. When we're describing a behavior, we don't want to say that, well, he acted up, or he misbehaved, or he was naughty. Well, what does that mean? We need to know exactly what he was doing. We need to know he hit someone, he kicked, he spit, he ripped up his paper, he left the classroom without permission, and so on. We need to get a really, really precise, objective description of the behavior so that we can all try to be as consistent as possible when we're trying to implement the behavior change. And the behavior change usually starts with an analysis of the functions of a child's behavior. We usually want to look at the behavior itself, and this is called the ABC description of the analysis of a behavior. We want to look at the behavior itself, that's the B. We want to look at what's happening immediately before that behavior, that's the antecedent, or A. And we want to look at the consequence, what's happening immediately after the behavior. And I get this question a lot, and I think there is a lot of confusion around this term of consequence, because a lot of people have associated consequence with negative consequence, punishment. You're going to have a consequence if you do XYZ. And we need to get that working definition of consequence out of our brain as we're thinking about the ABC model. ABC is just simply what happens before a behavior, B is the behavior, C is the consequence, what happens after the behavior. And that is those are the things we can actually change. We can change A and we can change C. And in so doing, we're going to change the behavior, the targeted behavior, the behavior that we've operationally defined. We've all agreed on what it is, and we're going to change it and shape it over time into the desired behavior through the use of something called reinforcement. Reinforcement has to do with making sure that we are positively reinforcing or encouraging or rewarding behaviors we do want to see, and that we are not inadvertently reinforcing behaviors we don't want to see, and that we're removing reinforcement that is maintaining or sustaining or reinforcing behaviors we don't want. And so that is where the analysis part comes in. For example, if you want a child to continue to raise their hand in class rather than blurting out, first you need to figure out how to demonstrate to that child that this is the desired behavior, raising your hand, not blurting out. Then we need to reinforce every single time they show the desired behavior. We need to say something like, "Thank you, Johnny, you did such a great job of raising your hand." And every time that we see a child demonstrating the undesired behavior, we need to give them some type of a signal or a correction, or let them know that I'm not going to acknowledge that. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing and answer your question and give you attention, since that was the function of the interrupting behavior, the behavior we don't want. We don't want to inadvertently reinforce that behavior because it's going to continue. If we answer Johnny's question, whether he raised his hand or he interrupted and blurted out, we have to stop reinforcing the blurting out behavior and start changing our own behavior, which is to reinforce him, give him a check on his chart, give him a thumbs up, give him a secret signal, give him that eye contact saying, "Thank you, I like how you," or use verbal praise, "I like how you raised your hand." That's the desired behavior. Because above all, the thing that we need to understand about ABA, I think this is the best explanation of it and the one that I use all the time, is that although we do want to change children's behavior, our own children, the children that we teach and that we work with, and or the adults that become our students that we work with, whose behavior can you really change? Can you change their behavior directly? No. The only person's behavior that you can change directly is yours. And you are the person who doesn't have a disability. Often the clients that we're working with do have a disability. There's a reason why they have challenging behavior, or behavior that needs to be reshaped or changed. And we are the ones that need to be 1, 2, 13, 14 steps ahead of whoever our clients and students are, thinking about how we can change our behavior to change theirs.